ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd Canto, 7th chapter, beginning from verse number 5. Lord Brahma is explaining the various avatars, and he spoke about first Varaha avatar, then Yajna, then Kapila, and then Dattatreya. So Bhagavatam is basically called Bhagavatam because it is about Bhagavan. It has stories about Bhagavan, and that's why it is called Bhagavatam. So therefore there has to be story about avatars. Every Purana has stories about avatars, but I think Bhagavatam has the maximum. So the list was already given in the 3rd chapter of 1st Canto. Now again in the 7th chapter, and then in 2nd Canto, and in 3rd Canto also again this list will be given. And then when list comes in 11th Canto, I think. So now he speaks about the next avatar. Taptam tapo vividhalokasya shikshame adau sanat satapse sachato sano bhut prak kalpa samplav vinashtami atma tattvam samyak jagadamuniyo yadachakshatatman. Brahma said that at the dawn of creation I performed austerities for the purpose of creating various planets, and because of my austerities Lord appeared as 4 Sanat Kumaras, and these Sanat Kumaras, they gave the transcendental knowledge, Atma Tattva, the knowledge about the Atma, which was lost in dissolution. And the sages, when they heard it, they were able to realize. So if one wants to do anything, especially if one wants to create, then one has to control one's senses. The mind is and senses are running here and there, then it is difficult to do anything, especially if you have to create something like this universe, which is very complex. If you have to make a design, if you have seen some research laboratories, then how one has to work there, because research is done with complete absorption. It's not just 8 to 5 job. So Brahma, he was also going to create, and for this creation he had to perform austerity. So also the custom that if one wants to achieve anything, then it was available by austerity, because austerity gives power. You fix your mind, control your senses. Austerity also means knowledge. Knowledge comes when one's mind is controlled and senses are under control. So then Lord, he appeared as Sanat Kumaras. And Sanat Kumaras, they are known to be young 5-year-old boys, but they are Jnana avatars. They are the avatar of the Lord's knowledge. They are Guru even of Narada Muni. In the Upanishads also they are mentioned, and they have given transcendental discourses as it will come in Bhagavatam in different places. So it is Lord's manifestation, these four Kumaras, Sanak, Sanandan, Sanat and Sanatan, these four brothers. So although they are four, but they are always counted as one, because they are always together. It's like you may have seen some twins. When they are young babies, they always like to be together. They don't want to separate. So they are also young. They never grow older than 5-year-old of age. They always stay together. And wherever they go, then one of them speaks. So they are always counted as one. That's why in Bhagavatam there are 12 Mahajanas. But actually if you count Chatursunas as 4, then they will become 15. And because they are counted as one, therefore they are 12. So he says, Samyak Jagad Muniyo Yada Chakshata Atma. That they spoke transcendental knowledge. And the sages who heard, they were able to realize it. Yeah, because my health is not good, so I wanted to sit in a little heat, not in the cold basement.
You can see. Yeah.
So the Kumaras, they are considered as Jnani Gurus. They are very learned and they did not marry because they just wanted to give knowledge to people so that they remain free to travel. Once you become married, then you have to settle down somewhere. It's difficult to travel with wife and kids, right? If you are alone, then it's much easy. So Kumaras, they decided that not only that they will not marry, they will not even become young, so that nobody even approaches them for marriage. Because who wants to marry a 5-year-old boy? So they did not grow. These days everybody wants to be young. Previously there used to be three or four divisions in life. The babies, then young people, then youth, then old. Now there is only one. Everybody is young. You can see 80-year-old guy wearing a jean and t-shirt. And then you also see some 10-year-old kid wearing jean and t-shirt. And then there are young people wearing jean and t-shirt. So everybody wears same dress now. And everybody wants to be young. The small kids want to be young. The old men also want to be young. Kumaras is the only example that they don't want to be young. They want to remain kids because they don't want to get married. And usually all children, they want to grow up because they feel frustrated. In the family, everybody is putting their thumb on their head. So they want to grow and become young. Except for Kumaras, that even as 5-year-olds, they were respected by everybody wherever they went. And then it's very economical. If you have to wear a dress and you're a grown-up man, you need more cloth, more food, bigger bed, everything big. So they did not grow. The only example in history that they didn't want to grow. And in India, previously, people when they were 5-6-year-old kids, they did not wear any cloth anyway. They used to go naked. I have seen in the village. Now it's as soon as the child is born, then immediately dress. But in India, this dressing was not very common thing. It's only when one grown beyond 10, 12, then they will start wearing dress. Otherwise, they're just wandering naked. Like here also, you see these kids of this working lady, they are almost naked. So Kumaras, they were also naked. There was no need for them to dress up. So it was very practical for them. And thus they executed their job very nicely. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says Kumara Avatara. Now Lord Brahma is describing about the Kumara Avataras. That's why they are called Kumar. Means young boys. Me maya adau yat tapas taptam tasmat swatapso hetoho sahari chatusano bhut. Brahma says, because in the beginning of creation I performed austerities, therefore Lord Hari, he appeared as Chatusam. They are called Chatusanu because their name has this word Sana common in them. Sanak, Sananda, and Sanat. So this Sana is common in their name, therefore they are called Chatusana. Chatu means four and Sana is the common word. Sanak, Sanandan, Sanatan, Sanat Kumara iti Chatvara hai. Sana Shabda Namni Yasya Sa. Ateva Sanaditi cha Nam. So Sanad was their name. Sanam San Sabdam Atati Vyapnoti iti Sa. So why they are called Sanat? Because they are pervaded by this word Sana. Sanat Sanatanatam iti Sahasranam Stotrat. And this Sanat word means eternal. So they are eternal people. This is described in the 1000 names of Lord Vishnu. Iha asmin kalpe atma tattvam samyak jagad. So in this particular kalpa they gave the knowledge of the self. Yad gadit matram eva muniya atmane swamansi achakshat sakshad apashyam. And just by hearing from them, the sages were able to realize. Then the next incarnation is Dharmasya Daksha Duhitur Dharmasya Daksha Duhitarya Janishta Murtyam Narayano Nareti Swatapa Prabhava Drishtatmano Bhagavato Niyamavalopam Devyastvang Nangana Punagatitum Nasheku. The next incarnation of Lord was Nara and Narayan. They are two brothers, but they are always together. And they are also the presiding deity of Bharatvarsha. Every country has a presiding deity. So Nar Narayan is the presiding deity of Bharatvarsha. They are living in Himalayas, in Badrinath. There are actually two mountains there. Those mountains, they are called Nar Narayan mountains. So they were born from the daughter of Dharma. Dharmasya Daksha Duhitari Yajanishta Murtyam, whose name was Murti. So they were born from Murti, the daughter of Dharma. And their specific characteristic was that they performed austerities. And this Murti was married, she was the daughter of Daksha and she was married to Dharma, not Dharma's daughter. She was the daughter of Daksha Prajapati and she was married to Dharma. So Murti, Murti means the deity form of the Lord is called Murti. And if it is married to Dharma, means it is worshipped with proper principles, then Lord is manifest in that. That is the significance, that from Dharma and Murti, Lord Narayana will manifest. Then they performed very severe austerities. When they performed austerities, then Lord Indra, he became troubled by that. And because he is very much worried about losing his post. Austerity gives power. So anyone who becomes powerful can take away his post. Therefore he sent Cupid to disturb sages Narayan. And when Cupid goes to disturb somebody, he has his army. So his army is the women, the apsaras, because they can disturb the mind of a person. So therefore it says Devyastu Ananga Pritana, that these Devis, these goddesses or apsaras from heaven, they were the soldiers of the Cupid. Usually in the army there are male soldiers. Cupid has female soldiers, and he is the most powerful. He has the strongest army, because whenever he attacks somebody, then he is always victorious. Except in this particular case, he was defeated. So when he came and he attacked Lord Narayana, then these apsaras, they were very surprised. Says Drishtva Atmano Bhagavato Niyamavalopam Devyastu Ananga Pratana Ghatum Nisheku. That not only that they were not able to disturb the mind of Narayana. Usually it was not their experience. Whenever they went somewhere to disturb some sage, they will disturb the mind of this person and he will give up his austerities. But nothing happened to Narayana. They remained peaceful and continued their austerities. So that was very surprising. And then more surprising was that Narayana Rishi, they created one apsara from their thigh. Her name was Urvashi, because Uru means thigh, and she was born from Uru, therefore she was named as Urvashi. And she was more beautiful than these apsaras who had come from heaven. And then he said that you please take also this Urvashi with you, because you are very fond of attacking others. So by this he showed that to Cupid that you have come to attack with your army, but I have a stronger army with me. So he sent Urvashi with Cupid and said that give this to Indra. So that's how Urvashi came into existence. And when the apsaras they saw this, they were very surprised to see this. Narayana Avatara Maha. So he describes Narayana Avatar. Dharmasya patnyam murtyam narayano narayati swarup dvayena jata. From Murti, the wife of Dharma, Lord appeared as Nara and Narayan, two forms. Swaya sadharane tapa prabhavo yasyasa. And speciality of Narayana was that they had extraordinary austerities, penances they performed. Anangasya pritna devya apsarsa tapo bhangartham agata atmanaiti jatya ekatvam. Then the apsaras who make the army of Cupid, they came to disturb their austerities. Atumbhyo hetubhyo niyamavlopam tapo bhanga bhavam drishtva ghatitum nasheku. But they were not able to destroy the austerities of the sages, Narayan. Therefore they were not only surprised, they were also fearful, because sometimes the sages, they can also become angry and curse. Therefore it says Shap Bhaya Stabdha Babu. they were stunned due to fear of curse. Bhaguri mate avityasya akar lope naya avlopeti siddham yadva Bhagavataha sakashat atmane swapratirupa avashyadya strir niyama avlopam pratbhanga bhavam sadrishtva ghatitum nishekur vishmayena stabda babhu. So not only that Lord had created Urvashi but many other apsaras, and they were very beautiful. And they apsaras, they saw themselves, and then they looked at this bunch of apsaras coming from Narnarayan. So they were very surprised. Now about every avatar, he is writing only one verse, but for them he writes one more, which is very important point. And this verse says that Kamam dahanti kritano nirosha drishtya rosham dahantam tutena dahanti asayam soyam yadantaramalam pravishan bibheti kama katham na punarasya manashayeta. Says that there are some very expert yogis or people who perform penance, that they are able to burn Cupid. This lust is very difficult to control. It is like a fire, agitates. So they are able to burn Cupid, means they are able to have control over their lusty feelings. But they are not able to control anger. As in case of Lord Shiva, Cupid also came to disturb him because he was engaged in penance, and this one demon was born and he could be killed only by Lord Shiva's son. But Lord Shiva, he engaged in penance after Sati has burnt herself in the sacrifice of her father Daksha. So Lord Shiva was not married, and he was not in any mood to marry. So how the son will be born if he does not marry? Therefore demigods, they made a plan that we should disturb his mind, and when he will have lusty feelings, then he will marry. Then a child will be born, then he is going to kill the demon. So when Cupid went and tried to disturb him, and Lord Shiva, he saw Cupid and he could see that he has come to disturb him, so he opened his third eye and burned him to ashes. So that means he burnt Cupid, but he could not control anger. And usually those people who perform austerity, they become angry very quickly, because one of the principle of austerity is that they have to control lust, and when they control lust, then they are angry. So kamat krodho vijayate. Krodha or anger is the child of lust. So Lord Shiva, he was not able to control anger, although he was able to restrict Cupid. But Narnarayan and Rishi, they did not become angry. So this is their speciality, that kamam dahanti kritano nanu rosha drishtya. That yes, some people, they are able to burn Cupid by their anger, as Lord Shiva did. Rosham dahantam uttena dahanti asayam. But this very anger by which they burn Cupid, this anger burns them. Because when you become angry, then your whole body is on fire. That's why the face becomes red, eye becomes red, and you start shivering. When the person becomes very, very angry, then he is even shivering, just like water boils. So Lord Shiva was not able to control his anger. So he says that Rosham Dahantam, that the very anger was burning him. So when a person becomes angry at somebody, he or she is already suffering from the anger, because it disturbs the whole nervous system. There is some kind of poison which is released in the brain. Scientists have studied that when a person is angry, then it is some kind of intoxicant which is released in the brain. That's why the person loses discrimination. As Krishna says that Kamat Krodho Vijayate Krodhot Bhavati Sammoha. That person becomes bewildered in anger. He cannot understand what is right, what is wrong. And that is the reason that if somebody has to fight, then he has to be made angry. Because when the person is angry, then he loses discrimination. Then he can fight. So he says, Kamam dahanti kritanona nirosa drishtya rosam dahantam uttena dahanti asayam. Soyam yadantaram alam pravishan vibheti kama katham na punarasya manesvayat. But this very anger, he was afraid to enter Narnarayan Rishi, because he was so scared. Anger entered Lord Shiva's body, but he did not dare to enter into the body of Lord Narnarayan. Soyam yadantaram alam pravishan bibheti kama katham nu punarasya manashrayeti. Because they were thinking that if this Cupid, who has no body, Cupid in Sanskrit is called Ananga, means bodiless, because Lord Shiva has burnt his body. So then anger is thinking that this Cupid has no body, and even he is fearing to enter. If I enter, what he is going to do to me? So he did not dare to go inside. So therefore he says, Kame katham nu punarasya manashrayita. Then there is no question that they can be troubled by greed or lust. So Bhagavataha Kama Vijayo Ayam Nadbhuta. He says that Lord's victory over Cupid is not very wonderful. Yatas tatra krodham apurvana krodh jayam api annay duskaram kritavan. Because he did this without getting angry. Usually those people who control over lust, they become angry. Those sannyasis or swamis, they are very short-tempered. That's why these military people, they have to fight. So they cannot remain with their wives. If they are with their wives, they will not fight. Because for fighting, they have to have anger. And anger comes if Kama is not satisfied. Then they become angry. So unless this Kama is transcended, it will always lead to anger. So that is what is being shown in these two examples, that those who are able to control Kama but become angry means they have only controlled it, but they have not transcended it. But Lord Narnarayana, they transcended it. So therefore there was no anger in their case. And thus not only that they are victorious over Kama, they are also victorious over Krodha, anger. And this is possible only either for the Lord or for a devotee of the Lord. In Bhagavatam later on the statement will come when the history of Narnarayana said that in these three worlds only Narnarayan Rishi, which means the Lord, or his devotees, they can be free from this Kama. or lust. Otherwise it is not possible. Because in other case, if they try to control it, then it will come out as anger. Even the 4 Kumaras, they became angry. There are also persons who are having control over Kama. So many people in the past, they tried it. Once Narada Muni, he performed great austerities. And after performing great austerities, he was also attacked by Cupid at Indra's advice. And when Cupid came, Narada, he was peaceful. And Cupid was defeated. But then Narada became proud. He thought that previously only Lord Shiva is known as Kamjai, because Brahma, we know that he was running after his own daughter. So he thought that now I am also in the list, because so many other sages, they have fallen down like Vishwamitra or Saubhri Muni, but I have conquered Kama. So immediately he thought that he will go and tell this to Shiva, that like I can also join this club now that I defeated. So he went to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva was taking rest and told Parvati that I want to see him. He said, please wait, he just had his lunch, he's relaxing. He says, no, I have to talk to him urgently. So then he was allowed to go inside, and he was so eager, It's like kids, children, when they do something, they want to tell to the father immediately. So he says that, my dear Shiva, I want to give you a good news. He says, what is that? He says that I have also conquered our Cupid, and I didn't burn him. So Lord Shiva says, oh, that's very great, I am very happy to hear that. But I tell you one thing, that don't tell this to others. Says, keep it to yourself. So of course his point was that if you go on telling like this, then you will lose this. Because we should not reveal our spiritual advancement to others unnecessarily. But Narada, because he was very proud by now, he thought that Shiva is so proud himself, he doesn't want that anyone else can also be a person who can control our Cupid. And therefore he doesn't want me to tell to anybody. So he says, I'm not going to listen to him, I'm going to smash his pride. So then he ran to his father Brahma and he says, Father. He says, yes, my dear son. He says, I have very good news. So he says, what is it? He says, I have controlled Cupid. So Brahma said, oh, that's very wonderful. But now keep quiet. Don't be proud. So Narada said, look, Shiva is my brother and he doesn't want that I have this. क्या अभी क्लास के बाद बस 15-20 मिनट और So he did not want. So he is also thinking like this. He thought that my father, because anyway he has no control over this Kamdeva, and he is telling like this. So Narada became very proud because of this. And Lord thought, then he also went to Lord Vishnu afterwards. And he went, and Lord, he received him very nicely, happily. So then Lord asked him, from where are you coming? So he said, oh, I am coming from the Himalayas. And then he told the whole story, that how he has conquered over Cupid. So Lord Vishnu said, that is very nice that you have done it, but now don't go on telling this to everybody. So now Narada became completely convinced that all these people, these 3 of them, because they are considered as three Murti, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. He says they want to be exclusive. They don't want anybody else to join their group. And because I have also attained this power, they are very envious of me. And just see, even Vishnu is telling me this not to tell to anybody. So he says, I am going to tell to everybody. So that everyone knows that these people are not so great. They are also envious of people like me. So then Lord thought that he has to be now put into place. He is a devotee and he has become proud, so he has to be humbled. So Lord did that, he made a very beautiful city. When Narada was walking and when he passed through this city, and there was a very great king ruling this city. So Narada said, let me go and tell this king also. So he came to the king and the king received him very nicely. And then king had a very beautiful daughter. So Narada, the king asked, how is everybody and this and that. Then Narada saw that the king was little bit worried. So he said, my dear king, you look worried, what is the problem? So he says, problem is that I have a young daughter and I have to get her married. I am looking for a nice husband. And since you travel a lot, so maybe you know somebody who is suitable match for my daughter. So Narada said, can you call her? I will see her hand and read the lines. So the daughter was called in the court. She came and Narada Muni saw her hand, and when he saw her hand, he was amazed to see the lines that anybody who will marry her, he will be like Vishnu. He will be great personality, powerful like Lord Vishnu. So Narada then got the idea that I must marry her. So he is told that your girl is very fortunate and she will have a very wonderful husband, and the husband will be like the controller of the universe and he will have all good qualities. He will be as powerful as Vishnu and this and that. And after saying, he was already thinking that now I should disappear from here quickly. Because the king had also told that I am arranging for this ceremony called Swamvara, where the daughter chooses the husband and so many princes are going to come. So he was already becoming impatient inside, that he also has to prepare for this, dress up nicely, have a nice haircut, get a good, trendy dress and makeup and everything and come. So then he got out of this and then he immediately ran back to Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu, of course, he already knew, he was smiling. So he said, Narada, what is the problem? You have come again. He says, my Lord, I am your devotee and I want to ask one thing from you. So he said, yeah, you can ask me. I will give you anything. You are my devotee. I can give even myself to you. He says that you give me your form because you are very beautiful. And for some time you can make me look very beautiful like you. So the Lord said, no problem. It's not a very difficult thing for me. I thought you were going to ask something big. So then Narada, he got the form and then he ran back because it was already next day or another day there was this ceremony. So he also came and he sat among all the kings. And everybody who was looking at him, he was laughing. And especially there were two fellows. They will stand up, they will look at Narada and they will laugh. And Narada was thinking, what is going on? Why everybody is laughing? And then finally this girl came with the garland in her hand and she was supposed to go and choose the husband. So as soon as she came in the area, and then Narada was already standing up from his seat that look at me, look at me. And everyone was laughing at him. And Narada was very sure that this girl is going to choose him as a husband. But she did not choose him as a husband. She went, and Lord Vishnu has also come there. She went and put the garland in Lord Vishnu's neck, and then Lord Vishnu took her away. Then when the ceremony was over, these two men who were always standing up and making fun of him, they brought one mirror and they showed mirror to him, and Narada was completely aghast to see that he had a monkey face. He did not know this, that his face was like a monkey. He was thinking that he is very beautiful, but God has made him monkey. And you know how monkey is beautiful. Even a little baby monkey looks quite ugly because they already have wrinkles. Monkey is the only species where even the babies have wrinkles on their face. Therefore in Sanskrit, one of the name for monkey is Balimukha. Bali means these wrinkles, that those who have wrinkles on their face. So then Narada, he became very upset that this Vishnu has played a joke at me. And the same person who was thinking that he has controlled over Cupid, now he has no control over Cupid or anger. He became very angry. And Lord Vishnu was already going away. So he went to him and he said, "You have made a big fun of me. And I was so eager to marry this girl and you have taken away, and I am going to curse you." So he gave the curse that you will be separated from this wife. And then you have given me this monkey face, monkeys will help you. And these two fellows were also going with the Lord because they were Jaya and Vijay, associates of the Lord. He told them that you become demons. So they became Ravan and Kumbhakaran, and Lord has to come as Ramchandra. So this verse is saying that it is Lord who has control over Cupid and also over anger. Otherwise everybody else is under the control of Cupid. This whole world is under the influence of Cupid. And it is so amazing that how Lord has put everybody into this chakra, in this cycle. So amazing that once a person is in this chakra, in this cycle of Cupid, then he cannot think beyond it. It is such a nice conditioning and very beautiful covering that they cannot think beyond it. It just limits. This is exactly what Krishna says, that Jnanena avritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantava. That ajnana covers the consciousness, the discrimination of the person, and then he remains bewildered. And the only solution is if we take shelter of the Lord. There is no other solution to this, because he is the only one who is free from it. And if one wants to be free from it, then he has to take shelter from it. So that's why Krishna says that his Maya is very powerful. Mam Maya Duratteya Mamevaya Prapadyante Maya Mitam Tarantite. So this is Lord's Maya. So many times in the scriptures there are criticism of women. So this criticism is not of the woman or anything, but it is criticism of attachment to sense enjoyment. Whether a man or a woman, if he or she is attached to sense enjoyment, then that is criticized. Otherwise, if there is no attachment to sense enjoyment, then what is wrong with woman or what is wrong with man? There is nothing wrong. So it is all in the mind. Therefore, Cupid also has a name in Sanskrit besides Ananga. He is also called Manasija or Manoj. You might have heard this name, Manoj. So Manoj means one who takes birth in the mind. Mana, Ja means to be born. Or Manasija. Manasi means in the mind and Ja means to be born. So this Cupid is actually only in the mind. And if you can go above mind, then you can watch the fun, how everybody is running after it, like crazy. Bhartrihari was one king, who was more than 2000 years ago, he wrote one book called Vairagya Shatkam, 100 slokas of renunciation. There is one very nice verse, I don't remember the verse, but maybe I have it somewhere. But the meaning of the verse is amazing. He says that, of course this is in Indian setting, because in India we have dogs on the street. This is one peculiarity of India. If you are going in the aeroplane and if you see dogs on the street, you know this is India. Because nowhere else you find dogs in the street. They are in the houses. And they have their season, sometimes October, September, when they mate. And when in this season, in India, it is a very common scene. You might have those who have been here during Kartik time or before that, you might have seen that there is one bitch, female dog, who is in heat, and there are 20 dogs following her. And everybody is trying to mate with her. And sometimes there are heavy fights. So this verse of Bhartrihari is describing that there is one dog. There are many dogs who are following this bitch, and there is one dog, but his dog is like this, that his one leg is broken. That also you might have seen in India. Dogs have broken legs. And his one ear has got infection, so it has already fallen down. And he is having only one eye. And he has scabies all over his body. And there is pus coming out of his sores. So, and his tail is also broken. So the depiction of this dog he gives is that this dog practically is sick in every part of his body. And he can hardly walk. But he is also running after this female dog. So then he says, just see how cruel Cupid is. That he is not sparing even this poor dog. So this is the situation with Cupid. He is very cruel and he attacks everybody in this world and makes them completely crazy. So why there are two verses given here, although for every avatar there is only one, but for this one there are two, is to stress this point that one can become free from this disease. In Shastra it is considered as disease, unless of course it is used for procreation, as Krishna says, dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamo asmi bhartasya, and it is a manifestation of the Lord. So in Tantra also they have From Sex to Samadhi, very famous book by Osho. So Tantra also makes use, because this kama is also manifestation of God. But if it is misused, then one is completely bound in this material world. There is no doubt about it, no matter who says what. So idea here is that we have to take shelter of the Lord to become free from this influence, which makes a person completely crazy. You keep reading in the newspaper all the time. Every day there is, like yesterday, a girl was gang raped, or some 5-year-old girl raped, 7-year-old girl raped. So this is craziness. And then there was a big news near Noida, this Nithari Kand. They found some 27 or I don't know 30 children were missing, all young people, young girls. And they were all raped and killed by these two men. Took long time to figure this out. And they found all the skeleton of these girls thrown into the ditch. So this type of craziness, so much cruelty can come when a person is under the influence of this lust. And the solution for this is only devotion, there is no other solution. Everywhere else you can try to control, which means you try to suppress it. And if you try to suppress it, then it comes out in some other ways. So that is not the solution. So therefore he said that Lord is the person in whose mind this Kama, the Cupid, does not dare to enter. He is completely free from this. So I'll stop here. Did I read the commentary on this verse? No, I think the commentary. I'll read the commentary. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Bhagavata kama vijayo ayam nad bhutay atas tatra krodham akurvana krodh jayam api anne duskaram kritvan ityaha kama vijayo. That was not wonderful for Lord to have a control over lust because he is the supreme controller, he is the master. And not only that, he had control over kama but also over anger. Kritina Sri Rudra Pramukha. And the word Kritina, which means perfected beings, refers to Lord Shiva here primarily because he is the one who has burnt Cupid by his third eye. But he was not able to conquer anger. Drishtya kamam dahanti rosham tu atmanam dahantam api na dahanti. So by his anger he has burnt Cupid, but this anger was burning Shiva and he was not able to do anything with it. And if one is not having control over anger, then his control over kama also does not have much meaning because they are always together. So that's why he has to marry later on. So Roshena bhi bhuyante. These people, they become overpowered by anger. Nanu aho swayam roshayad antram yan madhyam pravishan alam vibheti. And this anger is so wonderful that he understood that if I go inside Lord's body, I may also lose my body, like Cupid. So he said, I don't want to be called another Ananga, bodiless. So he stayed away, he learned the lesson from Cupid. So he did not enter. Yadva yasya antah mana katham bhutam amalam. So Lord's mind is completely pure and therefore there was no place for anger or lust. There is no possibility that they can enter there.
So we call Shiva the greatest Vaishnava, and yet he is not able